A father and son were killed in a fire that erupted in a house where firecrackers were manufactured in Kimbulapitia, Negombo. Well, we'll have this story later on during the news. But moving on to other local news, an unfortunate incident was reported from Boralla this evening when an individual's life was lost while at work.
"62-year-old KD Yasavati lost her life when she was electrocuted near the DSA Ranayaka roundabout in Boralla. The police media unit said that the deceased was an employee of a private cleaning company and was electrocuted while she was engaged in her cleaning duties. She was my wife. There has been dirt inside this. The door has been opened while she was cleaning up the dirt. The current has struck while she was cleaning up the dirt. This door is always kept open. I removed all the grass on either side of the road. The gate which is over there was also broken. I was the one that tied it up. None of these doors are ever closed." The police media unit said that the body is currently lying at the mortuary of the National Hospital in Colombo.
We're moving on to the story of a tragedy that took place in Negombo. A father and son were killed in a fire that erupted in a house where firecrackers were manufactured in Kimbulapitia.
The police said that the fire erupted at around 9:30 last night. The father was 30 years of age and the son was 8 years of age. The individuals that were killed in this incident are father of two, Batawala Arachige Dinesh, and his eldest son, Batawala Arachige Kushan Dinukar, residents of Lourdes Avenue in Kimbulapitia, Negombo. The fire erupted in a ground floor room of the two-story house. The firecrackers were stored in a room close to the bedroom. The bodies of the individuals were not moved from the location and were being kept under police security for the magisterial inquest. The Negombo police are conducting further investigations into the incident.
We are still in local news. Charges were filed today against 19 persons, including Senior Minister Athauda Seniviratna, for causing property damage to a drinking water scheme in the Kohombadeniya area in Warakapola. Now, charges were filed at the Warakapola Magistrates Court today.
The case against the defendants has been filed on 5 charges on the instructions of the Attorney General. Among the charges are trespassing on the grounds on which the drinking water scheme is located, causing damage to property at the location, and causing damages to the tune of over 1 million rupees. The magistrate postponed hearings of this case to the 10th of January next year.
The case filed against the husband of former Chief Justice Dr. Shirani Bandaranaike and former Chairman of the National Savings Bank Pradeep Karyavasam by the Commission to investigate allegations of bribery or corruption was taken up before Colombo Chief Magistrate Gihan Pilapitia today. Speaking in court today, attorney at law Salia Piris, part of the team of lawyers representing the defendant Pradeep Karyavasam, said that the first charge filed against his client had been changed and a charge had been filed for a second time. Piris said that this was illegal and that he had decided to file preliminary objections to it. Piris said that the premise of this objection is that the court does not possess the judicial power to hear this charge. Karyavasam has been charged with purchasing 7,863,362 shares of the finance company PLC while he was chairman of the National Savings Bank, knowing that the government would incur losses through this transaction. Piris asked that the court provide him with a date to present his preliminary objection.
There was a team of lawyers representing Pradeep Karyavasam when court convened. We informed court today that this charge cannot be filed and that we would file the preliminary objections regarding the judicial power. There were representatives of the Attorney General from the AG's department. On the agreement of both factions, court set aside the 6th of September to present the preliminary objections.
The refining of petrol and diesel at the Sapogaskanda refinery has been suspended temporarily owing to renovation work.
The suspension follows the reopening of the Sapogaskanda refinery on the 29th of May after it was shut down on the 16th of May owing to a shortage of crude oil. Although refining has been taking place at the refinery for 5 weeks since it was reopened, petrol and diesel that meets the required standards has not been produced by the refinery as yet. As such, the refinery has been closed temporarily in order to renovate parts that are used in the refining of petrol and diesel. There will be no loss incurred as a result of the suspension because this means that there is no cost being incurred in refining it. At present, the petrol and diesel is being stored in our temporary storage facilities and we will process this when it is fixed. The renovation will finish soon, but it will take about 4 days to start producing fuel at the required standard. Sipetco trade unions charge that the corporation has incurred massive financial losses as a result of this situation. The 30% of petrol and 35% of diesel that is produced by the refinery is not arriving at the market. Now they have to import petrol and diesel, spending $15 to $20 more. At the same time, because the part under renovation was not repaired properly when it was closed for 13 days, after the 29th, it started producing excess amounts of furnace oil and therefore they had to sell about 20,000 metric tons of it. We incurred a loss of more than 300 million through this.
Three people died as Egyptian troops opened fire at supporters of ousted Egyptian President Mohamed Morsi who were marching in Cairo. The incident occurred as crowds gathered outside the officers' club of the Presidential Guard where Morsi is believed to be held. The army meanwhile has denied shooting live rounds at the people. Let's now cross over to the newsroom where Zulfiq Farzan, who has been closely monitoring the unfolding crisis in Egypt, has more information on the situation.
The Muslim Brotherhood has warned that Egypt was on the brink of a police state and has refused to cooperate with the current regime. Now this statement comes hours after the leader of the Muslim Brotherhood, Mohammed Badi, was arrested by Egyptian forces. Jihad al-Haddad, the Muslim Brotherhood's official spokesman, said in a news conference at Rabah al-Adawiya Mosque that the movement had always been part of the fabric of Egyptian society.
And we would like to stress on the following facts. 1. Our full refusal and revokeness of the military coup that has happened against the President, against the Constitution, and against the legitimacy of the state. And our full denial of cooperation with the authority that has extorted the will of the people. And we will not share into that authority. We will participate in all peaceful, people-led protests and events against this military coup.
Now thousands have taken to the streets in Alexandria and other parts of Egypt, urging for the return of ousted President Mohamed Morsi. Some are even saying that they will even sacrifice their lives for him. Earlier, Egypt's armed forces announced it would guarantee the rights of people to protest, including those who support Morsi, as long as it did not result in violence or destruction of property. However, Egypt's military deployed troops in former President Mohamed Morsi's hometown after clashes between his supporters and opponents wounded 80.
Sachit Madhuranga bagged a silver medal in the javelin throw event at the 20th Asian Athletic Championship in Pune, India today. Madhuranga cleared a distance of 79.62 meters, which is also the best achievement by a Sri Lankan athlete. Ivan Frez of Uzbekistan was placed first in the event, while India's Samir Singh settled for bronze. Well, that brings to an end this edition of Primetime News. Thank you very much for joining us. I'm Mahina Bongzo.
And I'm Shahan Jarangpati. Have a pleasant weekend ahead of you. Good night.
Hotline 0114-896-896. www.newsfirst.lk. Feedback at newsfirst.lk.